Look,
Yes.
mine is very easy. It's simple. People have complicated leadership. Leadership is not complicated. When you're a leader, all you have to do is listen to the people and make sure that you do not think at any given time that your opinions, and doesn't matter how many qualifications you have, degrees you have, you can never be more intelligent than the people or the communities and our people in general. So what people fail to do is understand that regardless of the class of community, when people speak, their collective intelligence is always above yours. So all you need to do is to take what the people are saying, and you make sure that when you speak exactly what the people are saying. Leadership is very easy. If you can just do that, then whatever you say will always resonate with people because you are speaking to their hearts and minds. You're not only speaking to entertain, or you are speaking for votes. We don't do it for votes. We're not recognized by the IEC. We are recognized by the people, you see. So we are not doing it for quick envelopes under the table. I'm sure you've seen politicians, they they visit a restaurant, and I'm not throwing shots now. I'm just saying what it is. They go to a restaurant and pretend to be busy. And once they receive the envelope, they are gone. They just need money for their t-shirts and whatever else. Theirs is just to collect envelopes. Ours, we live in these communities. Do you think that if I lie about a community in Soweto or any other community, people won't access me? People walk to my house. I live amongst them. I could have built a house in Bryanston with gated communities and walls, but I chose to be in Soweto. So what's important is that we need to come together as people. I'm going to say something that I want people to take home. There are more people outside politics than there are more people in politics. Whether it's ANC, whether it's EFF, you look at their membership. Let's say they've got 1 million in total. The country is sitting at 65 million people, according to Stats. So where are the 64 million people? They are not in politics. So those people need a voice. It doesn't mean that when a political party conference says that they're going in, maybe they're taking west as a direction, the whole country must just follow as if we are just the zombies following suit. The people must have their own opinion of where the country must go. And all I do, to be honest with you, I plug in on the ground. I live on the ground. I exercise my activities on the ground. And when I operate, it's on the ground. I don't go for things that are far-fetched and then hope the people will understand. Everything I say is understood by Morik Maudwana Go Norte, is understood by someone with 5 degrees. So, and that's not a trick, it's not a skill. It's just you honestly articulating the views of our people. I always say that I'm not just saying that to sound nice. It's the truth. It's literal. We live amongst our grannies. People don't even call the police station anymore. They call us. But that's not something to boast about because that also shows the incompetence of our law enforcement and our state. No, when you say vigilante, we also need to address the fact that media is part and parcel of the systems. It's controlled. There's narratives that must be pushed. They need to sell their business. So whatever sells for them, all they care for is the profit. It's not the true reflection of our people. Look what happened in Diepsloot. ENCA, I've been watching, and people are calling me, hey, Mchana, they're saying that you were rejected in Diepsloot. How were we rejected in Diepsloot when we landed? People lost their minds. We took to the streets. I addressed the people, enforced high discipline, high morale, and encouraged people to listen to the police. At the same time, also reminded them that us being disciplined doesn't mean we must be fools. We must also fight for what's right for our communities. We can't have people dying every day in Diepsloot. We need to fight for our community and also remind them that there's no one who's coming here to save us. The politicians are not plugged in with the realities of our people. They sit in their mansions and smoke cigars and watch TV, and our people are living with rats. Rats. Rats, not for those maybe some good thing. Our people. And once we articulate such things that we are living with threats in our houses because we really can't make ends meet, they say that we are over exaggerating. And when we are saying that, listen, all the violent crime, we see it. We see the police van parking at the drug dealer's house to collect money on a daily basis. No, you guys are just being unreasonable. No, we are complaining about illegal foreigners. Not all foreigners, illegal foreigners. No, you guys are being xenophobic. So there's a narrative here to silence black South Africans, white South Africans in general. There's just a serious effort to silence us. We must just take it. I tweeted just this morning or yesterday, if I'm not wrong. We do too many things in one day. But one of my recent tweets were such that we are compiling a list of South African politicians that are owning businesses, major businesses such as mines in Zimbabwe, which directly tells you as a listener right now that there are politicians, South African politicians, that are profiting from the current state of Zimbabwe. And that's why they will encourage that Zimbabweans mustn't go home to fix Zimbabwe because they're making billions out of the current state of Zimbabwe. Instead, they're saying, no, we must just come here, open the borders. Why aren't you encouraging people to go fix their homes? We are saying as the young people, we are ready to go help them fight the good fight in their countries. Why must they come here and already share with South Africans what we don't have? We don't have the healthcare. We don't have the electricity. Not people in Soweto, some communities have 2 years without electricity as I speak. I'm not saying yesterday, now. And the government is saying that we have a problem of electricity, but you are allowing people in millions to come undocumented in our country. You know what I mean? So it's very difficult for us to take them serious, not because of they're just looking out for themselves, these people, and not the South Africans. We don't have intentional, deliberate leadership in our country. Our leadership is convenient. They come when it's time for elections or when there's a serious problem, people dying in deep slow, then you see them. On a normal day, you don't see them. But you see what, if we're to compare, I don't want to make this about me, but if you're to compare, we live amongst the communities, whether or not there's a problem. That's why when there's a problem, we can see it coming and we can be proactive. Maponya Mall is an example. We were able to do as young people what the government and law enforcement couldn't do. We were able to save 5,000 jobs for Maponya Mall. Guys, do you understand 5,000 jobs? So they can continue to, speaking to the point I raised before Nota spoke, they can continue to try to discredit us on their social medias and on traditional media, but they can't discredit us on the ground with real people, because those people, those 5,000 people and their kids, you can times it by 5 per household, 5,000 times 5. Those people, when they stand, Batlata Stadium, Boblelor, you are lying, because we have jobs today because of these young people. So now, to answer both your question and questionnaire X, what's important is we need to make sure as young people that we realize the real fight of today, the revolution, is us getting rid of the old people, because the old people come with hate. They are forcing us to inherit hate. They are forcing us to inherit corruption. Their ways of doing things does not make sense to the future. Look at our education system, guys. Our education system is not in line with our economy. There are kids in Germany that are studying mining when they don't have minerals under their own ground. But here in South Africa, kids are studying things that have nothing to do with those minerals. Meaning when we are graduating matric and cum laudes, those cum laudes are actually nothing. We are airheads. We're at the street corner, Robloma Koning Limajensi. We're not going to do anything because our education system has produced people who can't lead their own economies. So we need to change the education system as young people and fight for the education system to produce people that are skilled. How many people are on their phones right now? 99% of the people listening here, 99% of South Africans have phones and they use them. I'm talking young people now. Why aren't we having the ability, the skill to fix a cell phone? Why aren't we teaching it at school? How ngwana a tswa sekolong a kgone hore nna ke tsebe ho lokisa difounu, I can work, I can just find a stand and start fixing phones, because that market will never die, and then I can put bread on the table. Cameras are being used on a daily basis. Everyone that's listening here was on their camera today. Do you understand? But why aren't we teaching photography in the classroom, so that when people come when they graduate matric, they can immediately start being social media experts. They can immediately start being photographers of today, because that economy exists, but South Africans are not taking advantage of it because from beginning. So when we raise these issues, as much as they can sound like they're small issues, it's better to speak about a nuclear deal with Russia and therefore you sound sophisticated. We can have that conversation, but is that a practical conversation that will trickle down to emancipating everyone on the ground? The answer is no. So we need to remain very practical and very at the same time, very aggressive with what we want as young people. Young people, there's a word called capture. Hey, they are captured. You only think white people can capture black people. Hey, blacks are captured. Are you captured? Rubbish of a question. Let me tell you what's a real capture. Black leaders are capturing young black people and making them believe and conscientizing them to think in a way that does not produce fruits for the country. All we do is we say, yes, we are next in line for the councillor job. And because once we get there, the comrades have put us in there, then we must show that we honor them by being corrupt and making sure that the tenders that come with my office go back to the comrades again. And it's a vicious cycle. If you look at the young people in political parties, all they do is want to eat. Ke corruption, because
No,
that position doesn't come with eating.
They want to chow.
Corruption, that's corruption. So you must first master corruption before you chow. There's no way you can chow without mastering corruption. That's why you see at all these fancy clubs and Durban July time, people are spending 800,000 with underage girls. Why are they doing that? Because they are at the center of corruption. Let's not sound like we're only attacking politicians, guys. Let's now go to law enforcement. How is it that people that are part and parcel of our law enforcement, from JMPD to South African Police Services to state security, you can name all of them. How is it that we've got some police who's swiping 500,000 kokong? How is it? We know them. We are on the ground. We know them. Swipe 500,000. So how no, they're not comrades. If me being honest doesn't qualify me as a comrade, then to hell with being a comrade. Me, I'm here to make sure that the little that the universe has conspired for me to be in this position in terms of thinking, in terms of contributing to society, it must be done with proper integrity. It must be done with so much vigor that even after 1,000 years' time, the people must say that the class of Bo no Tabo Lux Bo Mamang made us continue to benefit and continue to emancipate us. We are benefiting from their policies. Listen, I can't even go past Mandela, the class of Nelson Mandela. Who comes before that class? The people listening don't even know the class that comes before Mandela and their real contributions. Why? Because we are still riding on outdated things such as the constitution. Our constitution is outdated. The country doesn't belong to all who live in it. Some people are here for wrong things. We know it, but we can't say it. Why? Because you guys are xenophobic. If you be honest with it, we can't. We need to remain honest, and young people need to unite. We need to unite regardless of race, regardless of color, regardless of background or class. Standing next to a white peasant. Bo Mandela fought for equality. Your parents, all of you listening here, fought for equality. Some lost their lives for the fight, equality. Now that we're accessing these schools, we go to these schools on scholarship, Bo St. David's. We get there, we are even better than some of these white kids, and we befriend them. They are our friends. After school, they check on you. Lux, where are you? It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Hey, Luena, happy birthday. Now it's a crime that Lux is a white friend. It's a crime. Then it's a signal of capture. They can go to hell. The same people that are preaching capture, to all of you that are listening, all their kids go to these schools. Yako leadership ya ANC, the Minister of Education, I'm not throwing shots, all their children, with the first Minister of Education since 1994 to Me Njimutech, their children are going to private schools. Me Njimutech, St. Mary's, one of the best girls' schools in the country, the continent even. But no. Sure. So the thinking around that was, if I am in the position to help, I mustn't just talk about it. It must also be seen. Action is important. So I took the action to say that I'm in a position of small economic power. So therefore, I must also make sure that I give where people can't afford. And my neighbors, not a secret, they actually said thanks. At that point, they had a wall that does not complement my wall. And I was like, but come on, the contrast would be too much. Let me, while I have the bricks because I'm building, while I have the labor because they are here, can you just add to my bill? Do the same thing for my neighbor. I was in that position of power and I did it. And it's not complicated. It doesn't need us to intellectualize it. It's hi Lohore, Mudimu le Badimu. ba o file sebaka sa hore wena o kgethehe, o kgethwe ke batho. You must understand hore it will be very naive of you to disrespect what the universe has conspired in its favor for you to lead your people, because such things, they don't come every day. So le nna matla ke nang le ona a se matla a leng hore ke a tswela sekolong shebana, ke matla a leng hore ke matla a tlhago, and tlhago ha o understand ke matla a leng hore ke a badimo. So ha batho ba rona ba re Luxway ne re kopa hore ro rome, because mosebetsi ko etsang ko romo ha batho ro rome o lo re emella kwa, because of ha ona motho mongwe ka re emellang kwa. I can do it, but under serious conditions. I will not start a political party. I don't have it to contest politically. I do not like politicians. I can't be what I don't like. But if there is a room for young people to unite and we come together and we've got, because let me tell you, in this country, there are more brilliant young people than Lux. They just don't have the platform to exercise their brilliance. So if I can be the amplifier for their voice and pull them to say that you are only 25 years, but you've got 5 degrees, you are a special case, come here, you must lead the Department of Education, and you go to someone with serious gold medals from Olympics. Listen, when Siminya, you've represented the country at this level and you've got a qualification in sports, please run a Department of Sports, because we know your heart and your qualifications are in the right place. I would be able to play that central role. Nka o dlalla position ya Messi, ke ntshe di-pass tse deadly, tse ntswempu, tsa di-chest trap, hore bana ba bang ba kore. It's not for me to say that I must be the president. There might be someone, if given an opportunity, who can lead better. There's a girl out there who's not vocal, who's listening, but has leadership qualities to maximum opalatsaka. That person must get the opportunity. So if I can be the amplifier of her voice, let it be. So right now I see my role as the person who is opening the minds, as a person who's responsible at the center of a mental shift across South Africans, Black South Africans in particular. So ha ke romiwa ngwaneso ke tla, but ke tla le nna ka di-conditions tse ke nanang hore di tla sebeletsa setjhaba. Not all police, by the way, are just policemen. Some of them are with us in the revolution. They say, Ntwana, zwagala shifter, o na le commandering, o tlamehile re o tshware. Oh, sure, Tash. Do you know how I got out? I won't send this picture on social media. I got out dressed as a woman. Ke kene mo mokhukhung wa nkgono a mpha diaparo le tuku, ka tshasa di mascara le di-red lips. Ka tswa ba mfeta fela, ba shebile hore ba batla Lux. Ke yo ngwanyana wa feta ne le yena Lux. Ka tswa ke tsamaya.